All right. I think we're back. Haha. Yeah, I had to restart all this jazz, and I'm like, oh no, I hate having to restart all of the things, but that's okay. We were able to restart the things, and now, yeah, so now that all of the things have been restarted like the things needed to be, we can get back to the show. Hopefully. Um, so what was I saying? Oh yeah. So I had to pop down to LA War Games and talk with Trace, and yeah, we got a lot of good stuff going, and we are going to do a demonstration day. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, okay, for those of you guys that don't know, I give a lot of demos. Okay, it's one of the reasons that I play so many games, and I mean so many games. All right, I'm talking we're talking one page rules is one of my favorites because it's so easy to demo. And we are going to either be doing Marvel Crisis Protocol, or we might just do Retro Raygun. Um, but he's already going to be hosting a day with with what is the term I'm looking for? One of my favorite games that I've talked about on the channel a lot, Rangers of Shadow Deep from Osprey Games, written by Joseph McCullough, because it's just an amazing game. Okay, it's a great, amazing game that lets a lot of people do a bunch of very cool stuff. All right. I used to have this thing where I'm like, I don't want people seeing that I got the camera going. But you know what? At this point, I just don't care anymore. Um, so, now that we've got all of those things talked about, um, once again, ooh, there we go. Just trying to get everything set up. Yeah, unfortunately, um, LA War Games is the closest gaming store to my location. Because for those of you guys that honestly didn't remember, and I don't know why you wouldn't remember, I still live in the hood. And there's not a whole lot of gaming stuff here going on. Oh, we here at Back in the Deck are working on it, but that's a lot of work. That is a whole lot of work. All right. But the fact that he's in downtown LA, it's literally only 6 miles away. 6 miles. Yay. Just 6 miles. Maybe 7. But that 6 or 7 miles is directly into downtown Los Angeles. Arrgh! Which means there's also driving back. So that was one of the things. Yeah, that's one of the things. Hang on, I'm live right now on YouTube. Aha. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I was talking with him. I was talking with a natural born decker. And I want to let you guys know what I mean by these things, all right? Because a lot of folks are like, I don't know what a decker is, blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 yakety schmackety, decker this, decker that. I don't know what you're talking about, you crazy, insane person. Okay? And I'll just let you guys know, all right? When I started this channel, I wanted to make it very clear. This is a channel for intersectional folks to have somewhere relatively safe for them to come and play games at. And what do I mean by safe? Like, yeah, what do you mean by that, old man? You're being all wacky and crazy. And I'm like, no, let me cook. All right. The safe thing is, as a lot of you guys know, there's a lot of places, a lot of places that you can find yourself in the gaming world, just in the world at large, that may or may not support your presence being there. Okay? I mean, it's one of my favorite Metallica songs. Sad, but true. All right? And that was my experience for a very, very, very long time. Oh my god, I'm actually just doing that? No. Let me go back. Hi! Alright, you guys are here. Um, so, of course, I started this company to talk about, lots of different things. And mainly to help build communities so that people like me and a lot of you guys actually had somewhere to go to play games, play games and have fellowship. And, but what does that look like? Okay. Well, a good amount of the times, that fellowship, those games, um, can actually look like a bunch of folks that aren't really welcomed in a lot of other play places. And sadly, look, y'all know I keep it real. I've always kept it real with you guys. And a lot of folks have this idea of, no, everybody's welcoming, blah, blah, blah. And most of that is because, through no fault of their own, they as individuals have never felt unwelcomed or excluded. They never had that. And there's a lot, and I mean a lot of gates, a lot of ways that folks can end up feeling that way in gaming circles and a lot of the ways that we handle things. Okay? But a natural born decker. Okay, a natural born decker. This is someone that I didn't have to train. Someone that literally is just like us. That's about welcoming the new player. That's about teaching games. That's about keeping the doors open. And I really mean this, not pushing the gaming culture that's based on exclusion due to fear of a lack of supremacy. Okay? Whoa, 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 get away from the keyboard. I said supremacy. All right? And what do I mean by supremacy? A lot of folks like a lot of things, but they want a lot of clout for it. I've been playing this game since 1978, and I demand you show me respect, cause I'm not like them. I'm not dumb. I'm smart, and I want respect. Am I making fun of them? A tad. And just talking with this guy for 25 seconds. He's all about playing games, helping people play games, and he understands the principle, the teaching principle of it's good to want to win at games, but if you try and be clever and do all of the tactical shenanigans on your very first game before you even learn the rules, the learning process won't be fun, nor will the playing process be fun. And that is something that I'm very, very adamant about. Because I know a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people, that they don't just want to win their very first game of whatever they're playing. They want to dominate, okay? They want to be the alpha. They want to be, they don't want to be the very best. They want to go, haha, you see how smart I am? I don't even know how to play this game. And I rocked your face, And that behavior, okay, that kind of attitude, is really the kind of attitude that makes people not want to play with you. I've seen it 100 times. 100 times over 100 games. And it's really something that doesn't do a lot of people good. I also know a lot of people that will not play a game until they've broken it. Okay? And I mean, he was talking about essentially a gaming goon that he ran across in a store, and the guy was like, well, I don't really know how to play, blah, blah, blah. And make a long story short, the guy was trying to pool hustle him, And that's just Not cool on any level. Okay, just the pool hustle, not cool. And he said he didn't know the rules and didn't know how to play and stuff like that. And the list that he had was one that he downloaded from, of course, the internets and the I guess you can say the most local winning strategy. Now, yeah, I'm still kind of in the middle of some prepping stuff. But and when he was complaining to me about it, I'm like, "Okay, are you an op? Like did the Fed send you? Cuz you're saying all the right things exactly in the right way. You're trying to get me deported, aren't you? That's what you're doing. You're trying to get me deported. I'm kidding, but Little Tokyo's in downtown LA, and yeah, it was fantastic talking to him and talking to some of the 40K players. We got to lament the games that we play. A lot of 40K players also play Combat Patrol. And we've talked about Combat Patrol. I've shown you a couple. And of course, I am working on house ruling the Age of Sigmar rules into, or the Age of Sigmar Spearhead rules into Combat Patrol. Because that game, in and of itself, is far more fun. Far more fun. But for those of you guys that are not in the know, what is Age of Sigmar? Well, we all know that the biggest game on the market for tabletop miniatures is, of course, Warhammer 40,000. Okay? That's just what it is. And about a year and a half ago, Warhammer 40,000 released a state of play called Combat Patrol, which is essentially the starter kit for your army. And what do I mean starter kit? Because they sell starter kits, don't they, Thilder? Yes, they do. They sell starter kits for armies. However, the way that those starter kits work makes it very difficult to start the game. And I'll tell you why. They have start collecting boxes. They have, faction focus and all that stuff. And that all that stuff is cool. All right. But you end up paying, say, $150, $160 for part of an army. And if you're new to the game, new to the area, new to the store, and that's kind of the way that you kind of want to get into it, that is a good luck, dude, call, because it depends very, very strongly, okay, very strongly, on someone else at the store, A, being willing to play, and B, okay, and this is big, okay, yeah, ready for this? All right, let's see if you're ready for this. B, willing to play at such a small point cost. Now, in the Combat Patrol community, just look it up online. You got loads of personalities, YouTube personalities like Poorhammer and Eons of Battle and Auspex Tactics and even Astartes Anonymous complaining about Spearhead in the same way. And that is, not Spearhead, sorry, complaining about Combat Patrol. And they all have the same things to say, which is, it's not a great way to start collecting. If you want to buy multiples, there's only 1 or 2 sets that are good for doing that. But if you buy multiples, you end up getting repeats of stuff that you can't have more than one in, and your point costs that are put together doesn't come close to this, and then they start talking about balance and just all these different things that they talk about as far as Combat Patrol as a way to play the game. And I'm not going to lie, I was new to 40K when I first saw this. And I'm not going to say that it turned me off from the game, okay? Because evidently it didn't. We're here now. But it made it seem like the people that play the game don't really have a lot of fun playing the game, okay? Because the combat patrol, in the way that it was built, seemed as though it was meant to be played Combat Patrol A against Combat Patrol B. Fantastic! You know, that is just a fantastic way to play. It's a fantastic thing to do. I'm with that. Hey, chat, you still there? Alright, we got Panama Jackson there. How you doing, bud? It looks like we lost Josh. Anyway. He's in Texas. God knows what that internet connection is like. Shoutouts to Texas. Love you guys. My streaming mentor actually lives out there. So in a nutshell, the people I saw talking about this game, Combat Patrol, did not seem as though they were approaching Combat Patrol as a game in and of itself. Okay? And this is a really important thing to distinguish between. Okay? Because I approached it as a game in and of itself. And I didn't have that much of a problem, but I kept hearing people, blah, 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 balanced. Blah, 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 not fun. Blah, 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 unfair. And I'm like, I'm having a good time with it. You know. However, a few months later, Games Workshop, for their other game, The Age of Sigmar, came out. And for that game, I was shocked. Just shocked. Because within that game, they did something really neat, which was they created a game mode that worked by itself. It was just a plain game. And I said, oh, this is what people were complaining about. I didn't quite understand, but now I understand. So I really kind of dug that. I dug what they were doing with that. So I thought that that was kind of cool. And I'm not going to say I went all in, but yeah, I got a lot. I got a lot. Yeah, I got a lot of, I ended up getting a lot of Combat Patrol stuff, especially since you guys know that I play one-page rules and I'm a 3D printer. So, and they did the thing. They did the thing that I wanted them to do, and they did it with Age of Sigmar. And I'm like, oh my God. These guys, they do get it. They just don't want to get it with their main property. Okay? And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of get that. Which is, all of the rules and stuff are free online. And I'm like, what? They're free online? Dude, what's up with that? If they're free online, then yeah, let me really check this out. And of course, they uploaded all the Spearhead rules for free online. So today, we are going to talk about one Spearhead that I found myself very interested in, okay? And that Spearhead today is the Idoneth Deepkin. Okay, now, before we go any further, I'm warning you right now. I like Aquaman. I sincerely like Aquaman, alright? If you guys aren't new to the channel, y'all will know. Did that announcement go up? I'm not quite sure. Yeah, if you guys aren't new to the channel, you know I'm not the biggest fan of elves, okay? And I'm hydrophobic. So why, in the name of all that is holy, would I actually like elves that are underwater. It doesn't make sense. That does not make sense. Here, look at the Wookiee. No, yeah, it literally doesn't make any sense. Oh, that's what happened. Okay, my post didn't go up. I'll fix that. Boop, boop. There we go. Yeah, so with all of that having happened, I'm not a big fan of elves. However, the Idoneth Deepkin in the lore is really interesting. So let me hey, what's going on? Anomalous Daniel, how's it going? If you're the Daniel that I think you are, happy birthday, man. Happy birthday. And if you're not, well, you share a birthday with, or you share a name with someone whose birthday is today. Something asinine that we can all say. So, way back in the days of this particular world of Warhammer 40k, and I'm going to start off by saying that Age of Sigmar is not the past to Warhammer 40k. It's its own thing. Instead of different planets, they have different realms, and or should I say they have multi-realms, and there's realms within realms. And the four main realms are Chaos AD, Order. Well, I never said I could sing. But there's also Death and Destruction. And from those four places, that's where you get your factions or your races. Now, within the realm of Order, we have humans, we have lizard men and dinosaurs, and we also have superhumans, and of course, we've got the elves. And the elves come into so many of the different flavors. Oh my god. I mean, you got your Lothlorien elves. Oh, look at us. We are so hoity-toity. We are hoity and toity. Oh, you poor humans. You don't understand the ways of magic. Let me cast a spell. You've got the Sylvaneth. Don't mess with the trees, bro. Poison Ivy, she's one of our weak ones. Yeah, one of our weak ones. This is L, and he's a living tree. Oh, and by the way, you like ants, huh? You like Treebeard? Yeah, Treebeard works for us, all right? And of course, you've got the Deepkin. Now, I want to talk about the Chaos faction really quickly, and this is going to be super, super quick, okay? Because Sigmar shares the same gods as 40k. So you got your four gods, okay? Your four major gods. You got Kord, and he does the exact same thing. Hey, you, I don't like your face. I think my fist is sexually attracted to it. So, I'm gonna punch you in the face a whole bunch. And then you got Nurgle. I love everybody. You don't have to shower to be here. I don't judge. What's that growing between your toes? Oh, that's fine. We love all mushrooms, whether we decorate or we cook them up with a little butter. So tasty. It's so flaky. I love that. And of course, we've got Tzeentch. It's all part of the plan. Because Tzeentch loves it when a plan comes together. And what do you got? Got the bird people. That's right. I'm more than a bird. I'm more than a plane. I'm a bird plane. Look at the chakra, And of course, you've got She Who Thirsts, who loves eating elven souls. But there's a lot more gods involved in this because it's fantasy and gods are everywhere. And the elven gods were like, I have just escaped from everything. Where are my children? Slaanesh did what? And so they had to go and have a big punch up. And, the elven combat god, Cain, was like, I'm the combat god. But then they warfed him, so he got, knocked down and all that stuff. And sure enough, The elven god's like, "Oh, my children, I must rescue the souls from she who plays with Cenobites and wears bunches of leather, and who loves eating turkey legs for some reason. Just, elven souls and turkey legs. I don't really know why, but elven souls and turkey legs. That's what they do." And it was, "Now that I have the souls, I must recreate my children. Oh, my children." And I don't know if you guys are like me, okay? But if you guys are, that means your first attempt at anything ain't gonna go that great. And so, this god made a bunch of elves out of the newly rescued souls of Slanesh. And yeah, didn't go great. Didn't go great at all. They turned out pale, blind abominations that were fully aware of themselves, going, "Oh my god, I don't like where I came from. Why did you not let me rest in the sweet darkness of oblivion? I want to go to school." And then they got their hands on a copy of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, read about the dolphins, and said, "You know what? That sounds good." So they made a beeline to the oceans and the waters and the realms of the wet, and said, "So long and thanks for all the fish." And there they have dwelt for thousands of years. So we are looking at elves that have the hoity-toity magic, and we feel a lot and we feel deeply because our hearts are just so big and full of neuroses. Living underwater with the reasons that I'm hydrophobic. And I'm going to put this out there. I say hydrophobic. I don't know the name of the condition, but I'm afraid of the ocean. Why? Because that's the last place on Earth that monsters still live, okay? Monsters are down there. It's a cold, wet, dark place of can't breathe, and monster will eat me. And these guys were like, the sweet peace of oblivion. "Hello, monster. I will call you Bert. Yes, you're my Bert. Now I'm going to ride Bert, and we are going to explore the darkness together." Oh my god. For prayerful eons, even death may die. And so, these guys created a whole kingdom, under the water. Live there, die. And there they lived, happy as larks. Well, happy as, ultra-blind, malformed abominations who are angry at their gods could live. In a nutshell, guys, they made mermaids. They just don't all have the fish tails. And in truth, yeah. By the way, Zan or Daniel, let me know if I'm off on any of this. So, as we're looking into all that, what is this? Oh, happy as clams. Exactly. Happy as clams. Deep in the water, even past Musta Crackish. And I'm going to have to watch Metalocalypse again, especially now that it's over. And this became a playable army in the Age of Sigmar. Because gamers like elves. Their pointy ears, their fleet feet, their glass hammer gameplay, they love. And as I talk to people about playing these games, they go, "Ooh, I know you made a Lizardmen army and a Super Knight army and an army of undead and even an army of rats. You got any elves?" So, of course, I had to get the Spearhead. Or build the Spearhead, we're getting there. And the Idoneth Spearhead is really cool. I mean, look at this. You got eel riders. You got your standard infantry troopy troops. And of course, you got a dude riding a whale or riding a shark with another dude riding shotgun or harpoon, rather. And I'm like, you know what? I can handle that. And for those of you guys that are like me and you have 3D printers and you're not totally sure that you want to spend $150 on essentially, ooh, there we go. You're not sure that you want to spend $150 on models just for gaming purposes, or more to the point, for demonstration purposes. There is an alternative, okay? And I can show this guy because chances are he's not going to get shut down. He's not going to get shut down because these are totally different, okay? Like, seriously. Let's see. There we are. There we are. And, yeah, there we are. So, for your role-playing games, specifically your fantasy games that happen to take place in the water, we've got these guys. Hey, guys, what is going on? All right, and these guys look so neat. All right. And of course, I'm a whale rider. I'm a whale rider, you know? So that is what we are going to be working on today. Because quite honestly, guys, there's so many cool things about these minis. I can barely contain myself. I mean, look at this dude. Look at this guy. He's like, look at me, you know? And I'm like, yeah, I can mess with that. I can definitely mess with that. This is a thing. This is definitely a thing that I can mess with. Okay? Because they look so cool. So, we are going to do a little painting, and we're going to talk about game culture. Okay? Let me just make sure, because, well, how can I put this? I'm never supposed to be doing this on the air, but this is a dude. Fixed it. Tune back in. Yeah. This is one of the people that came to me wanting to learn how to paint, and you know, y'all know how I love doing instructional videos. So, when we're looking at these guys, you know, we got hammerhead shark here, you know, got a little hammerhead, and we got a couple of other sharks. Now, I know they look like great whites, but this is fantasy, so yeah, fantasy sharks. Am I going to do a tiger shark? Am I going to do... I don't know. Oh, Scratch, you can't come up here tonight. Okay, love you, girl. So, let's hit the game gallery. Yeah, I know. Oh, no, you're trying. Oh, yeah, I love you too, girl. Love you too. Okay, just give me another couple of hours, and then we can play inside because it's colder than a well digger's ass outside. That's right, cold. All right, too cold. My girl. But she can't be here while I'm painting. And she's got to learn that. So let's head to the game gallery and do some stuff. So, as you guys can see, I've done a little bit of priming on these guys. And we are going to use, of course, the method, slappy, choppy, choppy. All right? But before we do any of that, as you can see, I did a different technique with priming. I primed them black, and I did a sloppy speckle. Okay, a sloppy speckle of white so that I can get some texture onto their armor and onto everything else. So now we get to do the major thing. Okay, gotta love it. And we are just going to dry brush to get a few highlights in the top. Now, My brush is a little bit wet. I love you too, girl, but you can't come up. Okay? And as you guys can see, it's not a completely flat surface. Stop being so sweet. Ah, you floofy girl. Who's the floofer? Okay? So now that we've got that going, again, now this is some white paint mixed with just a little bit of Tyrian Navy. Okay? Tyrian Navy from the Army Painter. Alright? Because y'all know how I am about my speed paints. Okay? There we go. Look at that. We're just going to do a little on the underside in case some folks decide to look. You know, just a little bit sloppy, you know. But yeah, because again, it's fantasy, so we can give it just a little zhuzh. And don't worry about how bright it's coming out in the beginning. Okay, let me change the color on this. That's better. Now you can see it a bit better. Yeah, don't worry about how bright it's coming out. Now, a lot of you guys are like, oh, aren't you supposed to use a dry brush? I'm like, yeah, you could. Okay. But this is just a larger paintbrush. Okay. And when I do the dry brushing, I give it to the side just to make sure I catch stuff. Okay. Now, I could change the angle and do an actual brush thing, but it's more like a dry wipe. Okay. We want to get the undercoating really good. Okay, there we go. So that's one. Now we got to do some more because we got 3 of these guys. All right, so ba-doop, 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 boop. Okay, and as you guys can see, we're getting texture, some speckle. Okay, because only certain breeds of sharks are one solid color, and none of the sharks have that dorsal spine thing. Now, if you wonder why I keep adding the Tyrian Navy, okay, it's to make absolutely sure that I don't get a stark white. Okay, we're going to go through two layers of dry brushing, all right, to make sure that the undercoat gives us some really good textures. Okay, because that's what you want with an undercoat when you're speed painting. Okay, I want to have all these done before the end of the show, at least as done as I can have them. Yeah, I want to have these as done as I can have them without their weapons. There we go. I may even shock you guys with a little free-handed. A little bit, just a little bit. A little bit of hand that's free, you know. That's what we're going to do on that. All right. Now, my elf skin is going to be a little bit green. Okay, I like having a little bit green because they're underwater, but I do want to put a little paleness in. But here's the thing, this is me having so much imagination, okay, so much imagination over these things, and it exceeds my skill because these things are freaking tiny. But in my dreams and in my imaginations, they'll have that. Now, of course, there are going to be the peoples. Yeah, there are going to be the people that want to critique my thing. And what do we say here? They're my toys. I do what I want. I do what I want. Now, I just noticed in the chat, we had Josh Story that's there talking. And they were like, oh no, I got ad sniped. And the best way to avoid getting ad sniped is to subscribe to the YouTube or to the to this channel on Twitch using your Amazon Prime account. It won't cost any money. And if you're not already subscribed to a gaming channel or something like that, you can do it for free every month. You know, it really helps us out here. And I mean, it really does. It helps us out a lot. It helps keep our lights on. It helps spread the word. It helps get us more viewers. It's just an all-around good thing to have subscribers. And if you don't, then, you know, you can follow, but you'll still get the ads. So if you don't want to get ad sniped, just hit us up with Jeff Bezos' money, and all will be well. Now, if you don't want to hit us with the Jeff Bezos money and use your own, I ain't gonna stop you. You know, I really appreciate it if you do. That would be fantastic. So let's ooh, pop, 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 pop. There we go. Yeah, mouth. And why am I stabbing and getting all that stuff in the mouth? Well, because mouths are not blacker than black times infinity. All right. Now, mouths don't tend to be black. Okay, they tend to have colors in the mouth meats. You know, because they're meats and tissue and sinew. I don't have to worry too much about him. All right. So, now that we've done this, we've got all that going. And that is fantastic. So now we're going to do one more coat, and we're going to take our skeleton bone, okay? Skeleton bone from Army Painter. This is also Games Workshop Pale Sand. You know, shouts out to Dana Howell, who is one of my favorite painters on YouTube. She is just so bloody talented. I just can't stand it sometimes. And we're going to take that, and this gives a warmer undertone. Okay, this gives an undertone that has a little bit of warmth. And I know it seems antithetical, all right? Why would we want to give a warm undertone to cold underwater elves? Well, it's because variety is spice. It is most definitely the spice of so much life, okay? So much. But again, when you're doing a lighter undercoat, especially when you're doing the undercoat method, like we are, yes, I call it slap chop in person, okay? What's important is that the lighter you go, the less heavy-handed you gotta be, okay? Oh, look at that. Look at that, yeah. And this gives us a little bit of opportunity to do some variety, okay? If I want to say put magical effects or glowy effects on here, I have the option, okay? But when you do that, you just gotta keep it a little light and don't use as much, and just stay to the top areas, the part where the light is coming down, okay? So that when you look, boom, look at that. Oh, I got all of that. And that's it. That's all. Walk away. Put it away. Put it away. All right, let's see. This is actually very, very large. Let me see if I can take this, and we're just going to make it a tad smaller. Okay. Oh. Yeah, I know what I got to do on that one. I think back to all the painting instructional videos that I see. And, yeah. Boom. Alright, yeah, that's a little better. Hang on, let me check properties. Resolution. No, I need to do resolution, because this is a big camera. There we go. Ah, it's so much better. Oh yeah, now I can make it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. That's so much better. Oh my god. So much better on that one. No, we're going to make it even bigger to screen. There we go. All right, now I don't feel like I'm like right on top of everything. Yeah, see, that's better. That actually reminds me of the YouTube videos I watch. We make this up as we go along. So, yeah, we're just gonna give a little wetness. Because, believe it or not, dry brushing is a lie. It's much closer to moist brushing. That's what we're doing. Okay, we moist brush. Alright? And, yeah. We're just gonna take that. Now, oh yeah, look at that. You see how much brighter it gets? Yeah. There we are. Boop, boop. Because again, we really want those tops to pop. I'm going to add a little white into this because I don't want it stark white. I just want it brighter. Okay. Enough to say, I'm swimming in the ocean, got a bit of light, and oh my God, what is that in my face? You know, that's what we're looking at. Moisture is the essence of wetness. What? Yes, and up is the opposite of down. Okay. So there we are on that. Okay. And see, as you guys can see, we've got this going. And boom, boom. Ha-bang, bang. Ha-bang, bang. Ha-boom, boom. And now that we've got all that stuff up, we are going to take our stands, okay? Dear stand. And we are going to stipple on some effects. Again, notice I haven't changed anything about my brush, okay? Just going to stipple on some effects. Stipple on a little bit of paint. We didn't even prime this part. Okay. So yeah. Now that we're doing this, I want to talk to you guys about that kind of thing. We said that we'd be talking about like game culture and stuff. Well, a lot of folks out there in them streets have this idea, okay? And the idea that they got is based on stuff like brand loyalty, okay? That started coming off. Oh no! That started coming off, but that's okay. A little bit of there. Said a little bit of... there we go. A little bit of crazy glue in my life. A little bit of kicker on the side. There we are. Yeah, now we're putting it on the stand. No, I didn't glue my hand to it. That was actually just pressure. Gotta love physics. Hey, Lord Pretty Beer. Alright. So yeah, now that we've got that on there, and look at this guy. Yeah, he's just ready to get out there and be like, I'm a shark rider. Arr! You know? And we're going to do the same to all them others. Okay. But, before I even start messing around with that, now, I'm going to make sure that these things stay in place. A little more zip kicker. Okay. And what's the reason that I did this? Well, I haven't glued the top in because I want to be able to take him off. Transport is a really important thing to me. Okay? But yeah, he's there. Woo! And, of course, now we can start with our leader shark do 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 leader shark do 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 do. Okay, all right. I had to do that. So the next thing that we're gonna take, okay, is we're gonna go for ashen stone because hammerheads are hammerheads are hammerheads, and we have our nice cheap dollar store brush. All right, and why our dollar store brush? Because not a lot of people will tell you this, especially like with the slap chop methods and all that jazz. A lot of the speed paints that you're going to use, Army Painter Speed Paint, Green Stuff World, Games Workshop, don't matter. No, don't matter. The essence of it will totally mess up your brushes. All right, but remember, it's still a transparent paint, so we're still going to get some nice textures with this paint happening. All right, there we go. Look at that. Okay, and we're still going to be in a very good position, to paint other colors as well. All right, but yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to come out. Now, like I said, this is a deep sea thing, and I'm not going to lie to y'all, I do like some fantasy colors. All right, not going to lie, I don't go for heavy realism on everything I paint. Okay, because you know, sharks are super efficient killing machines. So fantasy sharks should be even more super efficient, but these are sharks that are written by elves. And elves have always got to give something a little bit of style. Hey, what's going on, Knights of Og? So yeah. And with the Idoneth Deepkin, they may be insane and blind and living underwater, but they are still elves. You know, still elves. And in the same way, your uncle who used to be a biker can't ride anymore, they ain't giving up that jacket. You know, it's in their soul. You know, there's still going to be a little bit of Creedence Clearwater Revival, a little bit of leather jackets, and a whole lot of harsh whiskey. You know, painting transparent as a base of paint. Really? See, I can actually see that. I'll tell you quite honestly, the transparent base, that's big for me because I really do like the grise method. That's what slap chop is called in art school. I know because my boss went to art school, and she saw me painting some of my old knights like this, and she's like, "Oh, when did you learn the grise method?" And I said, "What?" But I was never very good with base coat, highlight, all that other stuff, because how can I put this? I like to be welcoming and don't really like to be intimidating and stuff. However, for those of you guys that have seen me in the outside world, and some have, I am 6'4", okay? I'm a bass player because my hands were too big for guitar comfortably. That's why, look at these meaty hands. So to get in with those surgical pinprick brushes, to do all those little things, it did not come easy to me. In fact, it felt like work, okay? But dry brushing, blah, great. And I started using this technique with inks back in 2002, 2003. Because I've worked with a lot of amazing artists over the years. And I mean amazing artists. Artists that, through no fault of their own, really made me feel like I wasn't that great of an artist. And hell, to this day, when it comes to visual art, I still don't claim the title. So what we're gonna take now is some Caribbean blue or Caribbean ocean. This is one of my favorite shades of blue. This is actually what my Thousand Suns are made up of. And with this, we're gonna take our same brush. I'm gonna wipe it off just a little bit, just a little bit. Okay, make sure nice and dry. And what we're gonna do is we are going to sloppily, okay, paint our elf flesh. Okay, sloppily paint our elf flesh. So many painters are like, no, you don't want it to get into, but you must have control. Why aren't you controlling? I'm just, all I hear is Carrie's mom, no, they're all going to laugh at you. Now he's got a little face in there, so we're just going to, yeah, face. All right? And the reason that we're doing this way, is because when you're using transparent paint, believe it or not, you have more control than you think. Okay? My method is literally use the light colors into the dark colors. Alright? I mean, yeah, there could be gradients and stuff like that, but I'm not going for a golden demon. But I use the dark colors, like the blues and stuff, but these are transparent paint, which means there's a whole lot that I won't have to worry about. Okay? And you see how I'm focusing on this guy's fleshy bits? He's got the flesh. Look at his flesh. Oh, yeah. Just bring this all the way in. Look at his flesh. Now, he looks like a living, breathing thing with his flesh. Alright? Look at that. Oh, my flesh. Look at my flesh. Flesh. Alright? So we know their skin is blue. They got the blue skin. Now, since these are elves, we're not going to stop with this blue. However, for now, we're going to start with this blue. Now, here's the key. All right? Here's the key. I'm painting his armor gold. Okay, his armor is going to be gold. Just for contrast. I don't mean contrast paint. I mean the contrast. Yeah, the contrast of the blue and the gold. You'll really be able to see where their skin stops and their armor begins. Okay? And that's important. But I'm not going to use gold contrast paint. I'm not even going to use the contrast trick of a silver metallic and then a contrast or speed paint yellow on top of it. Oh no, darling, we're not doing that. We're going to use straight up metallic gold because I love metallics and I'm not looking to win a golden demon or anything, so I just don't care. Head down to paint away from Mike. Yeah, it's a thing. It's either that or put on the really, really big thing. So yeah, that's the whole thing. Wow, my mic is just there we go. All right. So but can you hear me though? So yeah, we're gonna do that, and we're going to really So, the interesting thing, guys, is that I'm very nearsighted. So I have to lose the glasses to paint the mini, but then I have to put them back on to control the show. It is so interesting. Okay. And now that we've got that third one in there, there we are. Okay. So yeah. So we are going to Yeah, deal with all the flesh for all of our low people because the flesh is out. Oh, look at that. And again, if I'm sloppy with it, I'm going to be covering this with gold. And the gold is not transparent paint. So this is going to be covered up with the bling-a-bling-bling. There we are. So look at all that. Yeah. Alright, so we've got those guys. Now, what I have to do is I got to go back in there with some of the gray and determine what kind of sharks I'm dealing with. Okay? And this is a really important thing. Okay? Here we go with the last guy. There you go. And again, that undercoat does so much of the work, so much of the highlighting and the shadows and all that jazz, and it doesn't take a surgeon's hand. It takes an 8-year-old with a brush. There we are. Now, will this win awards? No. So, I said today we're going to talk about some gaming culture, okay? And there's a lot of people out there, a lot of folks out there that aren't really a big fan of what's the term I'm looking for? In my opinion, they're not really a big fan of gameplay. And what do I mean by that? So there are a lot of gamers out there that grew up kind of poor, okay? And these are very expensive games. Now, a lot of people ride hard on, well, still, I mean, if you're gonna do, you can do photography and I'm like, okay, stop, all right? I mean, it is an expensive overall hobby, okay? But one of the biggest things in the 21st century, and I'm about to get deep now, is finding community, y'all. Okay, we're all looking for somewhere that we want to belong. And playing games is a great way to commune, all right? But I talk a lot about cultural barriers that separate folks, okay? And this idea of no proxies, only painted models, only most current rules, only meta, blah, blah, blah. That is very much a way. Oh, look at that. Yeah. So, and as we get closer and closer, you'll be able to see a lot more of the texture. All right. All of those things are ways that keep available new people from joining the hobby. All right? It keeps them from joining the community, as it were. Because there's a lot of folks, I mean, look, I got the Army Painter 2.0 deluxe set. That was over $200 for paint. Okay? I get my brushes cheap because I use cheap little Amazon ones, you know, and that's kind of a thing. You know, so $10, $11, that's cool. So I'm good with paint for a while. But you want to get in to, say, a Games Workshop game, you know, the Spearhead, which I love, is less than the paint, but it's still more than $150 US. And people are like, well, you can go on eBay, and I'm like, stop, tell that to a 10-year-old. You know, tell that to a 10, 12-year-old. You'll have to tell it to their parents, number one. And number two, I quote the founder of One Page Rules a lot, which is these are very complicated games. Matter of fact, just to learn the rules to Warhammer or Age of Sigmar, even War Machine to an extent, you can't do it in one sitting. You gotta play multiple games before you understand the rules, let alone the available combinations, the tactical efficiency, even the full potential of the cool models you might have bought because, dude, elves are riding sharks, right? But if people um, keep pulling the well, I only play against people whose minis are painted, um, or all these barriers to entry that there actually are, not from the stores but from the communities. That is kind of a bummer, you know. Um, there's someone at our major store, Guildhouse Games, just getting into this stuff, and she doesn't have a lot of money to spend. She wants to play a Battle Sisters army, but it's going to take her at least a month to save up the money just for the combat patrol. All right, let's take a little bit of break from painting because walking away is always a wise thing to do. So, let's check it out. It is early February. So, it's going to take her till about March to get the battle box, to get the combat patrol or the starter box. All right, a minimum a month. And then it will probably take another month to a month and a half for her to get everything put together and primed. And since she's a brand new painter, who knows how long it's going to take for her to actually paint the figures to tabletop standards. So now she's $300 in, 3 months in, and hasn't played a single game because folks don't want to play with people using proxies, okay? And where did they learn this? Well, I'll tell you. All of the Games Workshop books give you an extra 10 points for having a painted mini. Matt from miniwargaming.com brought up a point that I thought was so brilliant and so brilliantly said, which is when a game book recommends something, we recommend this game be played at 2,000 points. We recommend that your minis be painted for the full experience. We recommend that you wear formal wear to all of our things. If a game book recommends something, if they use the words "we recommend," they should know by now, and I'm saying this to any people that are watching this from the future and think about wanting to be a game developer, the words "we recommend" might be what you wrote, but what players read is "thou shalt." You shall play 2,000 point games. You shall have your minis painted. You shall use the latest rules update. You see what I mean? And this has ups and downs, but for new players and people getting into it, all of those you shalls or we recommends stack up over and over and over and over to make what are small hurdles to get into a game turn into a wall. Each one is a brick in the wall. Okay? And I see a lot of players that have fallen for this marketing tactic. Oh no, I just can't get into it. It kills Murden. And look, if you guys are upset that I keep saying it that way and I make fun of it, I'm sorry, but I'm going to keep doing it. And here's why, okay? I understand wanting immersion, okay? I understand wanting to imagine that you're in a real world and stuff like that. However, at the end of the day, every game rule is an abstraction. Every single one is an abstraction of a real world event, okay? Your gaming toys are not real. They're not real people. They don't exist in the world. There's no such thing as a space marine. There's no such thing as a Lothlorien elf. There's no such thing as a phase beast, guys. All right? Um, the toys that we use, our models, and all of those things, they are extractions and they help with the realism and they look all cool and cinematic and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, okay, they're not real. At the end of the day, we are imagining this stuff happening. And it takes a lot less, a measurable amount less of physical energy to imagine a little harder than it does to make everything photorealistic and interactionable with. Okay. This is actually one of the main reasons that we don't talk about movies that much on this channel, because a lot of the big complaints that I've seen over the years tend to revolve around the CGI was not convincing. And this is coming from someone who went to film school. All right, guys, so listen up. Not only did I go to film school, but I have been alive throughout most of gaming, most of video gaming. Okay. Well, sir, what do you mean by that? Look, Pong was 2 lines in a square. Wasn't even a circle. It was a square. Okay? That went on the board. Boop, boop, boop. That's all it was. The technology that it took to go from Pong to Batman was phenomenal. Or from Pong to Batman, or Pac-Man, was phenomenal. All right? The generations of stuff that it took to go from Pac-Man to Kung Fu Hero and Karate Champ, oh my god, leaps and bounds. You know, from 4-bit to 8-bit was just like, what? And then, you know, I'm serious. The difference between Pac-Man and Mario Brothers is a planet. Hey, Daryl, what's going on? And then from Mario Brothers and Kid Icarus and all that stuff to Street Fighter, oh my god, 16-bit. Now you look at CGI, and anybody older than me cannot tell the difference. They really can't. Okay? Because we watched all that stuff go. It's kind of like how you don't really feel as tall as you are because you've been there for growth the whole time. But a lot of people look at, say, PlayStation 2 graphics, and they're like, oh god, it's so ugly. And it looks to me, and please correct me if I'm incorrect, but does it seem like... Oh, whoa, let's see. Lord Prettybeard built Pong on a plywood circuit board with a Radio Shack's pieces. Yeah, exactly. You couldn't do anything like that with NES, you know? Nothing. Like, yeah, doing that with NES? Oh, no. And then you go up to, like, Genesis and TurboGrafx 16 and PlayStation. The wood would ignite. Okay? So...